Um, and, yeah, my grandfather's yard site, Aaron Kaplan's grandfather's yard site, Peretz's grandfather's yard site, which which is interesting because his name is almost as long as Amud Aleph, Rafal Chaim Simcha Ben Yamin Ben Moshe, right? So that's one.
Abdominal,
Yeah, and also Roberto Flegman, so yard site also. You know Flegman, he Yeshiva Katana, whatever his
Yeah,
son.
Moshe Ben something.
Moshe Ben, yeah, I don't remember his father's name. Whatever, his doesn't know is also yard site. And what do you say? Somebody, who was the Rav in Cincinnati? Elio sent it to me today.
Laser Silver?
Laser Silver.
Right, so
His yard site tonight.
Blazer Silver's yard site, and there was another one.
Longer than the shear.
That's right. No, but anyway, so getting on to that, the big tumult in the world of Daf Yomi today was this. It seems like Elio, it comes from the Minchas Elazar. He was the one that said it over in the Bnei Yissaschar, that the Toisusin and Meruba are so long. It can't be that the Gemara, that this memra is going on this today's daf. Today's daf has got that huge Toisus, two huge Toisus. So basically, what they say is that the Bali Toisus, which lots of them were murdered, the pogroms back then were crazy. I mean, a lot of history was crazy. But
when Rabbi Yehuda says it over, he says Bava Kamma Ayin Zayin.
I know, but it can't be because Bava Kamma Ayin Zayin wasn't written until 1500.
It's Yaakov. Sully Bornstein gives the whole shtickle on that. He had a good cheer on it.
I actually, for the first time ever, listened to a Sully Bornstein today because I saw that he had a thing on it, and he was Meir this too. Or two, maybe I got it from him. Did I get it from him? Could be. It's a Pasha Dezach.
What happened in 1500? What are you saying?
No, meaning everybody's saying. First, let's say the member, right? So the Minchas Elazar says over Bnei Yissaschar, he has a Kabbalah that the Toisvus in Meruba are very, very long because the Balei Toisvus, right before they were killed, again, historically we don't know exactly. Right before they killed, they wrote over a lot of Toisvus, and Memela they put it into Meruba as a zikaron for the nebuch, for the neshamas, for the whatever, however it went down. So people say that it had to do with today's daf. Davayin Zayin, that's why it's so big. It was made as a zikaron for that. So some are tining that it can't be they wrote it dafka on Ayin Zayin as because there was no daf Ayin Zayin. The Bali Tos is in 1100s, 1200s.
And other Masechtas, the Tosfos is not written by the same Bali Tosfos?
It is, but what do you ask?
I'm saying, why is Meruba any different than any other Perik or Masechta?
It seems like that's what they were writing when they were killed.
Okay.
That's what writing when they were killed. But the other one wants to say that Ayin Zayin Dafka is Zikaron. But Ayin Zayin there was no Ayin Zayin in Shas until the first Shas was printed, was it Bamberg? Bamberg Shas? I went once to the Sotheby's and saw it when it was for sale, when it was on sale. Yeah, so that was not written until the 1500s.
Yeah, so
Can't say that they wrote these Toisus on Daf Ayin Zayin.
They didn't have blot before the printing press.
As far as I know,
they had blot. They were all different. Every shas, there were hundreds of different shas, and every single one a different blot.
I don't understand. I'm a little confused.
So the format wasn't done then. The format wasn't done. The format that we have wasn't done.
So I understand they didn't have this Ayin Zayin. Are they saying? Do they want to say Ayin Zayin? Because Ayin Zayin stands for something, and it makes the story more gooey.
No, Ayin Zayin doesn't stand for anything.
That's
right. So could it be that these were the Toisus and it ended up being an Ayin Zayin?
The people in the know, Ayin Zayin means stands for 770 Eastern Park. But I'm not going to say that in Barav. I'm not going to say that Barav.
Why can't it be that these were the Toisus and ended up being an Ayin Zayin? So now we say Toisus and Ayin Zayin.
Could be. It could be the printer afterwards.
It's also a long Toisus. That's what he says. He says it's a very long Toisus. Either way, it would have been a long Toisus.
Right. No, but it could be that the printers decided that they're going to make. They could have laid it out a little differently in the 1500s that the blot are a little bit more symmetrical. You don't have to make a 9-word daf. So you could say that the printer, whoever did it, decided that this will be the zikaron. That could be also. I know these are just the point is that it seems like in Perek Meruba it seems like the Bnei Yissaschar is the source for this, and the Minchas Elazar is the one that brought it out. Is that it was that these Toisvasin were written by the Bali Toisvis the night before. Then you have the Rabbi Waxman thing that Aaron Kaplan posted with the.
Where did that come from? It's not from. Shirley Warrenstein has no clue where that came from either.
I don't know.
I feel like the stories just got more and more wild.
I asked.
They made a whole music video for it.
Yeah, Rabbi Waxman kind that they wrote it in their blood. They poked their bodies and they wrote it in their blood.
Right, that's what Rabbi Yeager says.
Yeah, so I guess whatever the same source, wherever they're getting it from. I haven't.
They wrote it on the walls.
Wrote on the wall, right? Yeah. So I don't know. That's all variations of what went on. I don't know.
Paul Simon was anecdotal with them.
Yeah, but there was that's when I was listening to the Rabbi Bornstein today. He spoke to a historian who said there was a lot of suicide amongst the Balei Tosfos. Instead of schmatting themselves, there's lots and lots of stories over those 200 years where Nebuch that they
you have in the Kinnis,
right.
Yaakov, he said so crazy. He said that was Dvarm Shuvah back then. They didn't just kill; they killed their whole families.
Right, they killed the families. In York. So it's not a kasha that if they poked themselves and wrote with blood, it would fit into the stories. Never. Right, it would fit into the stories. Right. Anyways, okay. On that note, we should only hear Besudas Tovas, and we should have the Geula, the Korah. We don't have these stories anymore.
Amen.
Okay, so we're on Ayin Bava Medbeis. Second line up and down. So again, just a little bit of a chazar, because it's a continuation. It's a continuation of the previous sugya. So we said Reb Shimon's shita. We had two Reb Shimons, right? So Reb Shimon was saying that when it depends, when somebody steals. We had ultimately, let's go with the maskana, that we said ultimately that what Reb Shimon is saying in the Mishnah, that if somebody steals a shor that was already made hektish, right? So then he shechts it. So it depends what kind of hektish the shor was made. If the owner of the shor made it hektish with responsibility, so that means it still belongs to the owner. So therefore, when this guy shechts it, he is going to have to pay dollar b'hei. But if he has no responsibility, that means it totally belongs to hektish, and therefore Reb Shimon says he's going to be potter. Right, so that was what Reb Shimon said. But then we had a kasha on Reb Shimon, because Reb Shimon also holds that if, in order to be chayav dalet b'hei, the animal has to be edible. Like if it's a treifa animal, then you're not chayav dalet b'hei. Right? So here, if the guy is shechting kachin, so it's not edible. So how can Reb Shimon say you chayav dalet b'hei? To that, we had a machlokes of Yochanan and Reish Lakish as to what the teretz was. There were two versions of Rabbi Yochanan, but basically Rabbi Yochanan said it's talking about when he shechted a regular animal in the base of Mikdash, shaloi l'shem bailim. He didn't do it in the name of the bailim, right? So therefore, it was a kosher shechita, it was an edible shechita, right? And Mamela, that's why he's chayav dalet b'hei. That was Rabbi Yochanan. And Reish Lakish had said no. It's talking about where he shechted a bal mum. He shechted a bal mum b'chutz, which is also edible, but it has to be redeemed, right? So then the Gemara asked, Rabbi Lazar asked on Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, but they're still not edible when you shecht it, because the carbon needs to be sprinkled, the blood needs to be sprinkled on the mizbeach, right? According to Rabbi Yochanan, for Rabbi Yochanan's pshat and Reish Lakish's pshat, the needs a pidyon, and you weren't yet paid it, even though it's a balmum, so you're allowed to be nana from a balmum. But you have to be, paid. It didn't happen yet. So the Gemara said, according to Reb Shimon, anything that's going to be sprinkled on the mizbeach is looked at as if it was sprinkled on the mizbeach, and anything that's going to be redeemed, we look at it like it's redeemed right now, even though it wasn't yet redeemed. Right. So yesterday we proved from Noisar that kala aimed l'zarif l'zarif dami. Now there's an interesting din. I mean, it's because you have kala aimed likatzitz kekatzitz dami. Comes up a lot in I don't want to call it my business, but sometimes during the daf it comes up, which is that removing nails before mikvah or anything like that, right? So why does a woman have to cut her nails before the mikvah? It's part of her body. It's not a chatzitza, right? Because we look at it, even though it's attached to the body now, since it's going to be detached, So then we look at it like it's already detached. Right? So there's a Chassam Sofer who brings in from
Why
our
does she have to cut? I don't understand what you just said. The members don't understand.
Since she's going to cut her nails, because normal people cut their nails. So the nails are on there now, but she's going to cut it in a week from now. So it's as if it's already cut.
So she doesn't have to cut it.
She does have to cut it because why does she have to cut it? I know you're right. I didn't explain.
So is hair any different?
No, hair is the same.
Wait
thing.
1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Like this, like
relax,
you don't need
man.
such a quick answer on the air. Nothing personal.
Didn't we discuss this in Saita?
Probably.
No, the Gabi hair.
Yeah, but what was in Nagaya? I don't remember. So anyways, the shot is like this. Here, I mean, my nails are not so long, but my nails, that's Thursday, so, because Naftali Line is going to shoot me if I cut them on Thursday, so I make sure to cut them on Friday, right? So I cut my nails on a Friday, but now tonight, we look at it, since I'm planning on cutting it tomorrow, we look at my nails as if they're already cut.
Look up by what?
It's a chatzitza because the nail, let's say this quarter inch of nail is going to be cut.
If it's cut, it's not there.
No, but it's not cut now. You really?
I don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
No, it's an interesting lumdus, but it's important. It is nageya, meaning since I'm going to cut this part of the nail tomorrow, so halacha says, like we're saying in the Gemara now, since it's oimed to be cut, right? The carbon's oimed to be sprinkled, so we look at it as if it's sprinkled right now. So since this nail is going to be cut, we look at it like it's already cut. So then that means that this nail on the edge, this edge of the nail here, is really not on my body. Right? It's not on my body.
But is it hanging, or you're just planning on cutting it tomorrow?
My regular nail.
So you're planning on cutting it tomorrow, so it's considered cut today?
Might be easier to explain. It's as if you don't want it.
Okay, that's
it's not. You don't want it because you would cut it by tomorrow. Right. So it's if you don't want it. You don't want it. Now it's extra. It's
not there, correct. And the mamela, that nail that's on me is a chatzitza. Meaning, let's say I took my nails and I cut
but the Gabi ladies, they would want their nails. If you didn't make them cut it, they would want it. Ladies like nails. They like to polish them. They like big nails. They put on fake nails when they have to cut their real nails. So how you saying ladies don't want it? They want the nails.
Ravan, you're on the ball. That is the place can grapple with this, which is why they say me'ikaradin. If a woman says that she's not cutting her nails, we let her go to the mikveh. We let her.
No, you just said that.
So, what? Go ahead.
If you decide that you're cutting this nail tomorrow, so now it's considered cut today, right now. Correct. Is that what you said?
Yes.
So then why can't you go on Wednesday, decide I'm cutting my nails tomorrow, cut it on Wednesday, and then you can cut it on Thursday?
No, because it's still not covered Shabbos. You want your nails.
Because he's afraid you'd give up your Yiddishkeit if he told you that.
One second. You're cutting it on Thursday.
You're not. There's a different Indian. You want to make sure your nails are cut as short as possible to cover Shabbos.
Right. You also have that 3-day thing that it grows back. You don't have to grow back on Shabbos.
That's not really the reason. The reason is because you want them to be cut short. And if you do it more than 3 days, then it gets cut. But that's not the point. Here's the kasha from, I forgot, I heard it from Rabbi Razum. I was trying to listen what the Olam had to say about this Tosfos thing. And he said a Gavalik kasha, I think from the Chacham Tzvi. So how you have a Yaitza Lechem Mishnah? Kol Aymin Lekatzitz, Gekatzitz, right? You said it, you're going to cut the challah in a minute, right? So now we look at it like it's already cut.
Even make a cut in it before, no?
Yeah, that probably makes it even worse. But yeah, I don't remember the teretz. The kasha was gishmak, right? Anyways, that all also. So the Chassam Sofer asks, listen to this. Pischei Tshuva brings it in what siman? Whatever. I don't remember the siman. How is it that the Hasidic girls that shave their head, right? They're shaving their head the day after the chasana, or some do in the yichud room, whatever it is. Why is that not a chatzitza? Why wasn't it a chatzitza for mikvah?
Because it's connected how das bnei adam, so it's not oimid. They do it, but it's not connected.
That's not what he says. He doesn't go with that. Based from this Gemara, he has a problem with it he basically says if you're not taking it off right away, then it's okay. That's from what I remember. Yeah. So, anyways, that's the kishmaka hak on tonight's stuff. Okay, so let's go back. So now we're up to we have to prove that something that's going to be redeemed is considered redeemed right now, even though it wasn't yet redeemed. I'm in 2 lines up on the bottom. I in Bava base. I think we made up the time for that 1 line over Aleph. And anything that's going to be redeemed is like it's redeemed. The Tanya Reb Shimon Omer on Tamar Aleph now. Para metama tumas oichlin. So a para, right? We know the para aduma, which is obviously usher to benefit from. Right. So there is a way going back to the other Reb Shimon that you need to be able. You have tumas oichlin, right? Something can be meat or whatever can become tame like as food. But Reb Shimon held that he only becomes tamei as food if it had at one point it was mutter. So how do you ever have? So how could meat from a paraduma become tamei if it never had heter? Is there a possibility for it to ever have a zman heter where Reb Shimon would hold that it could become tumas oichlin? Right, so we're saying
zman heter means a time when you could eat it.
Yes.
Physically eat it.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want Geshem pulling a fast one on me. It means when you could physically eat.
Yes. Meanwhile, he's not going to pull, and you never know what he could pull out, but especially with these long taisis. But yes, para. Yes, he's saying that it has to have a time that it was mutter. So para metama tumas oichlin. It can become a metama tumas oichlin. Why? Hayil v'haisala shasa kaisha. Since it did have a time that it could be kosher. Right. Yeah, so on Talmud Beis now. So Omar Rish Lakish, and Rish Lakish said, Omer Hoya Reb Shimon. So Reb Shimon said, Para niftis al gabi ma'archasa. Ma'archa is where they burned it. The way they worked with the paraduma is it was on Harazesim, right? And they made a fire over there, and that's where they burnt it. And then they took the ashes, and the Kohen Gadol did it while he was looking towards the Harabayas. Then they made a bridge for him to walk to the Harabayas, etc., etc. So it was done all in Harazesim, not in the Beis Hamikdash. So
he shechted it?
Yeah, he shechted it, and then they burnt it in, and they took the ashes, and then they mixed it with the mechatas, and right. So, but Reb Shimon held that even after it was shechted, and even after it was put onto the fire, you could still be paided. And meaning if another paraduma comes along, it's like a esrogim, right? You have the guys that buy an esrog and they see another esrog. It looks much better, so they buy the second one. So I guess the same thing with a paraduma they had. Right? A guy has a paraduma, looks good, so they take it. Then they just finished burning, they say, oh, a guy comes along with a better paraduma. They say, okay, let's swap it out. So since you could still swap it out, it has a potential shas heter, but you have to be paided. Right? You'll just take the paraduma that has kedusha now that you just burnt it, and you put that kedusha onto the new paraduma. Now this becomes heter. So since you could be paided, it can become heter. So then therefore it has a shas hechsher, and therefore it does become matama tumas oifler. Right?
Alma would get a lot of money for those steaks.
That's for sure. That's for sure, right? So
we should be able to build another charging station.
But anyway, yeah. So what you see is that they weren't paided yet. So if they weren't paided yet, it was never. How was it ever heter? So he said, Alma kola I'm in liftas kipadu gamu. It must be that since it has the potential to become redeemed, therefore it's redeemed. So those are the 2 rayas how we know that kola I'm in liftas kipadu gamu, and yesterday's daf had kola I'm in lizroi pizarak gamu. Right? Fine. I'm trying to remember. I looked a little bit into the Taisus, and now I'm drawing a blank what Taisus kashas were. It's all about Tum and Tara. Okay, if I remember, I'll say. Anyways, so now the Gemara says 3 lines down on Ayin Zayin Amud Beis. So Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan Alayam Reb Shimon ben. Now going back to what we discussed at the beginning. So Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish had a machlokes what it means when you're shechting a shor of hektish. Right? Rabbi Yochanan had said he shechted a regular animal that belonged. He stole a hektish animal from the guy, brought it to the Beis Hamikdash, and shechted it, but not in the shame of the Baal. Right? That was Rabbi Yochanan's shot. Rish Lakish shot is fakert. It was a Baal Mum out of the Beis Hamikdash. The Gemara asks, we understand why Rabbi Yochanan didn't want to go like Rish Lakish, because he would rather say it's not a normal thing to be makriv bali mum. It's more normal to be makriv a regular animal. So of course he didn't want to go with Rish Lakish because he'd rather stick with tmimin, with complete animals. Ela Rish Lakish, my time on Rabbi Yochanan. But Rish Lakish, why didn't he say like Rabbi Yochanan, right? That it's tmimin. So Amar Lach, so he'll tell you. Rish Lakish will tell you. It says utvachai ay machrai. Right? He says, and the guy when he stole it, he shechted it or he sold it, and then he has to pay daled behei. So what? But compare shchita to mechira. Kol eva the isa mechira. If it has a din of mechira isa b'tvicha, then meaning if it can be sold, it also has meaning, and therefore you'd have daled behei on the sale. Then you'll also have a daled behei on the shchita. Kol eva the lesser mechira, but where it can't be sold, lesser b'tvicha, you doesn't have the daled behei of shchita either. If somebody sells kodshim, there's no you can't sell kodshim. Right? Kodshim cannot become chulin just by selling it. Right? So meaning a Baal Mum can become chulin, a regular hektish cannot become. So less nu betvicha. So therefore they're not in part of shchita. Meaning, so Rabbi Yochanan, so Rish Lakish is saying that basically, in order to be chayiv daled behei on shchita, you have to have the ability to be chayiv daled behei on the mechira. And since these animals, if they were tamimim, are hektish, and there's no way to sell them, so since they're not in the daled behei of a sale, they're not in the daled behei of a shchita either. So that's what he didn't want to say. He didn't want to say it's talking about a whole animal. He wanted to say it's talking about a bamboo. Right? And by Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish go with their reasoning. Somebody sells a treifa, right? Again, according to Reb Shimon, if you shechted a treifa, there's no daled behei because it's not edible. But Reb Shimon doesn't discuss if you sold a treifa, right? We've been saying that according to Reb Shimon, in order to be chayiv daled behei, the food has to be edible, right? Reb Shimon seems to have this thing that he's very into edible food, right? For tum and tara, it needs to be edible. And for daled behei, it needs to be edible. But he says about shchita, if you shecht an animal and it's not going to be edible, you're not chayiv daled behei. But he doesn't weigh in on mechira. What happens if you sell a treif animal? You chayiv daled behei or not? That's a machlokes. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish in Reb Shimon, right? Rabbi Yochanan
sell it to a guy, you know.
What?
A treif animal. They do it all the time.
Right, exactly. So the question is does it need to be edible to anybody, or does it need to be edible only to a yid? And then Mamela, do we align mechira with shchita? Meaning it's saying that you have to be able to do both. If you can't do both, then there's no daled behei, right? So that's exactly the machlokes. So Rabbi Yochanan Amar Chayiv. Rabbi Yochanan says he's chayiv daled behei. Rish Lakish Amar Potter. Rish Lakish says he's Potter. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Chayiv. Avagav the lesser betvicha, even though he can't shecht it because meaning it's not in shchita. Now he could shecht it, but it's not in shchita because it's trade. Isa b'mechira, but he could sell it to a guy. Rish Lakish Amar Potter is Potter. Even the lesser betvicha, since there's no daled behei for the shchita because it's not edible. Lesser b'mechira, it's not a mechira either, right? So that's so again that's a machlokes. We have Rish Lakish in Reb Shimon whether Reb Shimon says his din that a treifa animal is by mechira. So Aser.
Yeah, but why would you be chayiv al tiganev if you steal something that's a treifa? What did you steal exactly? Because it still has certain.
You can sell it to a guy, no?
Because you're saying you can sell it
to a guy.
Yeah, you could sell right. You could sell it to a guy.
Are you chayiv on the value of a treifa, or are you chayiv on the value of a regular behemoth at that point? Once you discover it's a treifa.
What a minute, you're saying like a treifa?
Is
that what you're saying? That's what.
Yeah, treifa is worth much less.
So it's worth much less.
No, I'm saying what would you be chayiv for when I stole it? When I stole it, we didn't know it was a treifa. Is there?
But it is Matthias. It is a treifa. If I sold you a forged Picasso, it's a forged Picasso. It's not the real Picasso. No. You're gonna tell me we thought it was $50 million? It's worth $20. No.
I don't know. How does it? Well, we'll see in the unarmored bays how that works. Yeah, let's wait till Amid Bays to discuss it. Yeah, because it'll yeah.
Especially if it's Laradia, if you use it for other purposes, you know.
We are on Amid Bays.
No, Amid Bays of the top of the next Amid Bays. Get there tonight. Yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. We're on Amid Bays. How we get there so fast? Yeah. Anyway, let's wait. Let's see if we get to top of Bays, or it'll be tomorrow. Okay, so then Esvei, Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish, Rabbi Yochanan and Akash Rish Lakish, gone of Klayim, the Tofcha. Let's say a guy stole Klayim. Now, Klayim, there's lots of different Klayim. Here we're talking about a crossbreed of Rashi says a Tayish and a Kibsa. I can't even remember the names of all the different. We need Rachamim. Is he on, or he went off, or whoever, whatever. It's two types of behemadakas. So that's a crossbreed. You're not allowed to do it. It's also to do it. If they did it, you're allowed to use it. Right? This is Nagaya this week, actually. Next week is Tu B'Shvat. People are gonna make shechianus, and the whole shiloh you make shechianu on crossbred fruits. Right? Fruits that come from that are crossbred. Yeah. So the bottom line is it's also to do it, it's not also to eat it.
Why are you making shechianus on any fruits?
I didn't say I'm making shechianus.
No.
You caught me, Akiva. Yeah. The gun of Klayim b'tavcha. So if you stole, the guy stole Klayim and then he shechted it, right? Treifa machra, or he stole a treifa animal, he sold it. So then he pays tashumi aruch hamisha, right? So again, he's saying he stole Klayim and he shechted it, and treifa and he sold it. Pays dalaveh. So the Gemara is assuming my love, Reb Shimoni, isn't this Reb Shimon, right? Because it says that you only pay dalet behay for if you sell a tray. It says selling a treifa. The only one who cares about whether an animal is treifa or not is Reb Shimon. So it must be according to Reb Shimon, and he says clearly that you sold it and you're going to pay dalet behay. Alma avagav the lesser betficha, even though there's no dalet behay on shchita, but here it seems to be beferish. Isei b'mechira. You do have dalet behay if you sold a treifa animal. That's a straight up kasha on Rish Lakish. Amar Lei. So Rish Lakish will say, no, Loi Rabbanan, it's going according to Rabbanan. The kasha is, I Rabbanan, Treifa Mechira Isa Bezvicha Lesas. And then what is he saying? That a treifa animal, you pay dalet behay for selling. Mashma that for shchita, you don't pay dalet behay. The Rabbanan hold you pay dalet behay for shechting a true treifa also. Zvicha Lesas. But you want to answer Ve'lamais Reb Shimon. So what are we saying? And it goes according to Reb Shimon. Klayim betficha isa b'mechira lesa. Klayim is what are you going to say? It's according to Reb Shimon, and he holds a klayim. If you shecht it, there is dalet behay b'mechira lesa. But if you sell it, you don't. So then, if that's the case, elatana, meaning it can't be that elatana tficha. So what are we going to say? That it says tvicha, but who adin lemechira? It's lav dafka, right? When it says you're shechting a klayim, it's lav dafka. So therefore, when it says that you're selling a treifa, it's also lav dafka. Who adin lemechira? And Rabbanan namis. Meaning, yeah, according to Reb Shimon, you're forced to say that one of them is lav dafka. So they're both lav dafka. So in the Rabbanan, you can say the same thing. Tana mechira, it's mechira, but who adin letvicha? It also means for tvicha too, right? So therefore, it's not a kasha Rish Lakish. But Rabbi Yochanan will tell you no. Hi, my. If you say it's Reb Shimon, I did a ton of treifa b'chada. Since you say that there's a treifa in one case, ton of klayim b'chada. So therefore, he says klayim in one case. Meaning, if you're saying treifa by a regular shor, so then you can also say by klayim one, even though it means both by klayim. But if you're going to say according to Rabbanon, why don't you just mix the cases? Meaning, according to Rabbanon, if in all cases you chayev, whether you sell the treifa or you shech the treifa, then why don't you just mix the two cases and write it this way: Gun of klayim utreifa. If you stole a klayim and treifa, tavchan u'mecharon, and if you shech it and you sell it, masham teshumei arba chamisha. Right? That would be a much simpler way to say the Mishnah. Meaning, Reb Shimon had a reason to differentiate. Rabbanon have no reason to not add both cases together. So Gemara answers kasha. It says, yeah, it's taka, it's a kasha according to Reish Lakish. Fine. Now the Gemara has a different. Now the Gemara is going to discuss klayim. So klayim, which is a crossbreed, right? Seh, ksiv. It says seh in the pasuk. Bama rava zeh bana av. It's a binyan av. Right? That's one of the shlosh esrei midas, right? Kol makom shenemar seh. Anytime the pasuk says seh, eino ela lahoitzi, it's a klayim. It coming a seh means what? A sheep. There's a seh sheep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how we call it. Okay, so then it's coming to exclude a crossbreed of a sheep and a deer or a sheep of face, whatever the crossbreed of a lamb and a sheep or a goat and a sheep of face, right? So you see that it's excluding. So how are you saying here that klayim?
Yaakov.
Yeah.
I didn't post, but Ellie Stefanski had some very questionable pictures in that case.
What, of crossbreed?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm happy you didn't post. I'm happy you didn't.
Did he only have pictures, or did he have videos as well?
Probably.
Huh?
Who knows? Well, yeah, he wants over had video.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah.
He had some videos too. I'll post it. I'm just mid-flight. I can't send them now.
You got it working on the flight. Very good.
Yeah, Wi-Fi calling, baby.
Oh, very good. Okay, have a safe trip.
When you have your own plane, you can do what you want. It's no big deal.
Byron, you don't have to tell everybody that. Please.
Anyways, so we're saying a binyan. Anytime it says seh, it comes to exclude klayim. So by dalet v'hei, it says the word seh, so you should be excluded. Well, answer shani ocha domar kra oy l'rabis is a klayim. No, here it says oy, right? It says shor oy seh. So the oy is coming to include klayim. So really, yes, it's true that seh comes to exclude klayim. But here that we say oy, it's going to come to include klayim. So I'm going to ask, v'chol oy l'rabisu, is every time the pasuk says oy, it's coming to include something. But Tanya, shorei kesef, it says shorei kesef, prat l'klayim, it comes to exclude klayim. Oy eis, or eis, prat l'nidma. It's coming to exclude, according to Art Scroll, a mutant, right? A nidma is a mutant, right? Meaning it's a crossbreed of, Rashi says, it's not, whatever it is, it's not comparable to its father and its mother. It comes from an ayil and a rachel, but it looks like an ace. I don't know, this is real Rachamim's department. It has two sheep, a male sheep and a female sheep, obviously, but it looks like a goat, right? So whatever it is, the Gemara's kasha is, it's just shor oy kesef, and it comes to exclude klayim, and it comes to exclude this mutant, which seems to be from a different, whatever, it comes out different than what its parents were.
Why would you need it to exclude if set always excludes?
What?
Why would you need the oy over there if they already created an opinion on?
No, it doesn't say set. It doesn't say. It's shorei kesef.
Oh, so it's only set that excludes?
Yeah, it seems to be only set. Only set. Right? Anyways, so Amar Rava, Hacham Minyana Dekrava, Hacham Minyana Dekrava. This is a very interesting teretz here. It has to do with how the pasuk is written. It's from the Indian of the pasuk. Hacha Gabi Geneva by Geneva. What does the pasuk say? Yosiv Shor Oiseh, an ox or a seh. You cannot get a baby from crossbreeding an ox and a seh. Right? You ain't going to get any pregnancy out of that. So Mamela, so then oy the rabbis client. So then oy.
So what happens if they mate together? Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. No.
I guess not. I'm assuming. I don't know. You got to ask the Bikiyim in the farming, but I'm assuming nothing happens. Why? I don't know. I don't know how that works. Right? I remember there was a Shir Klali in the Masechta Avodah Zarah. It has a lot of this stuff, and one of the guys was not understanding Rabbi Yeager. He says, "1 second, you're saying that a man impregnated a shor?" And Rabbi Yeager just looks at him like, "What? What are you saying? They didn't get pregnant. He just was together with it. They're not. There's no pregnancy happening over here, right?" That's just one of my memories of an 18-year-old.
Isn't a shore a male?
What?
A shore is a male, isn't it?
Whatever. I don't remember exactly the case. So specific.
It looks a little bit like what you look like now.
Yeah. Anyways, so since you cannot possibly mate, you can mate them, David, right? You're just not going to have any. You're not going to get a child out of it, right? So since it says shorei seh, you can't get a client from them. So then oi comes to include client. Gabi kodshim. By kodshim it says kesev va'ez, which is a lamb and a goat. You could, those are compatible, right? So then oi lamayatu. So then oi is coming to exclude, right? So it all depends on how the pasuk is going. He will try and do Amud Aleph to now, so because Amud Bey is a little long, we have a few minutes. Yeah. So the Gemara asks, "By Gabi kodshim nami nemar shorei kesev." By kodshim it also says shorei kesev, right? You can't, like we just said, you cannot get a shor, you cannot get a fetus or a baby out of a shor and a kesem, and it says that by kodshim too. But nearby, so if that's the case, then we should include klayim. The Gemara answers, and this next shagmatai I don't understand. In the sefer lamayet reisha nami lamayet. No, since the end of the pasuk by kodshim is excluding a crossbreed, so reisha nami lamayet, the reisha is also coming to exclude. I don't understand that, but okay. Then they're going to ask, Adarabah, with the Reisha l'Rabbas, if the Reisha is coming to include, so then Sefer Nami l'Rabbas, and the Sefer should also come to include. Right? You can't have one including and one excluding. That's Pasha. Right? But I'm just not sure why the Gemara is going back with why one is more advantageous than the other. Okay. So the Gemara says,
well, first the Gemara wanted to say that since the Sefer, therefore the Reisha, because we know that the drush is the might kabayim, but it's from the oi between shoy roiseh. So I have to have a way to say that is lamayit. The starting point is always going to be, since the second one's lamayit, the first one is also lamayit, because I need to get to the point where it is lamayit.
Yeah, but you're at that point.
You mean I'm not? Because the Gemara is going to ask. You're really asking the Gemara's question. With the racial Arabbis, Sefer Arabbis. But the first stage has to be, we want it to be Lamayit, because that's what the Brisa says.
I hear. Okay, so all right. I hear. I still don't get it, but fine. Thank you for trying. But Gemara says, "Hi, Mike." Yeah, 4 lines down. If you're saying that it's coming to exclude, so why do I need 2 psukim to exclude? Even though I have a pasuk to exclude klayim from kodshim, right? It's from yeah. I'm sorry, look. Again, we'll back up 1 line. I'm sorry. If you say that it's coming to be mamaya to exclude and who it's tremute, I understand why you need 2 psukim to be mamaya. The imit klayim, even though you're already excluding klayim, it's lemute nidma. You also need to exclude a mutant, right? Because klayim and a mutant are 2 different things. Klayim.
You could say the exact opposite story.
Why?
Because I could say I would say I is only the rabbis nidme, and then I would say the other is to be marbe climb. Meaning I could have built the chedushim the other way. Start with the one eye being marbe something smaller, and then the other one's being marbe, unless it's no shaykhis.
What are you saying? It's no, a mutant is from a kosher.
I understand, but like, how are you being the ma'id oi a nidme sam?
What?
Because there's an extra oi, or it's not meinyana.
What do you mean? I don't understand what you're saying. We're saying that if you have a pasuk to be Mamayit Klayim, which an Isser was done, and it's two different parents, and they're not included, right? But I would say a Nidma, it's regular parents, right? It just happens to be, for whatever reason, the thing looked a little weird. It came out looking like a goat. Okay, but that's a regular kosher thing. So it looks weird. It looks weird. So I need a pasuk to be Mamayit. If you're being Mamayit a mutant, then Avada you're going to be Mamayit a crossbreed, no? That's what I think. Anyway, so that's what the Gemara is saying. So Itzrich Lemute Nidma. So you need to exclude a Nidma. Eliyam the rabbis. If you're saying it's coming to include Trey Rebuye Lama, what do I need two inclusions? Hashta Klayim Irbile. If Klayim you're including, which is a Chiddush because its parents, it was created by Issa, Nidma Bibai, if it has two regular parents and it just looks a little strange, do you need to say that that's included? Right? So there's no reason. So it has to be that it's coming to be Mamayit. Okay. Now, going back onto Rabba's klal, that anytime it says the word seh, it's coming to exclude crossbred. So Elahadam or Rabba zeh bana'av, Kamma k'shenemer seh. Eine elahaitzi as a klayim, it's coming to exclude klayim. So Lamai Hilchasa, why did he teach this for? Why? Because for every case that you could possibly have, we already have psukim. If it's to tell you that you can't bring a carbon that's made out of klayim, the hedyiksibahu shar oikesef. It says shar oikesef prat leklayim. It's coming to exclude klayim. So you can't be that. That's what it's coming for. Ila meiser. If it's coming from meiser, that you don't have to give, right, every 10th animal you have to give as meiser. So maybe you want to say that you don't have to do for a crossbreed. You don't bring it as meiser. Tachas yalav mikachim. We learn out Gzeira Shava. Tachas from kachim. Just like it's not part of kachim, not part of meiser. Ila bechor. If you want to say that it comes to exclude a bechor, right? That you don't have bechor from it. Havara yalav meiser. We learn out the word havara from meiser, that it's excluded. Inami, nidma amrit loy. Or you could say, you can't, a nidma is, if you say a nidma, you don't do pidyon to siv ach b'chor shar, achiyehu shar u'b'chore shar, until it's a shar and its b'chor is a shar, meaning it has to look like the baby has to look like the parent. Klayim mibai, then do you need klayim? Right? So basically, we have no situation, we have no case where you actually need the word seh to exclude klayim. We have it excluded all on their own, each case on their own. Elokiyat Madarava, Le'init Peter Chamar. By Rava, it's talking about Peter Chamar, right? So the Chamar, you have to, the first Chamar, the firstborn Chamar, you have to swap it out. You have to give the Kohen a goat or a lamb instead of to get back your Chamar. So can you give this client? Because it's not an point in loy be'egel, but loy b'chay. You can't do a pigeon peter chamor, not with a calf, and not with a wild animal. And Rashi says a goat, a ram. I'm sorry, and a deer. But loy b'shchuta, you can't swap it out. You can't do a pigeon with a shechted animal, loy b'treifa, loy b'klayim, but loy b'koi or kvi. And then there's a whole tumult. What exactly is a koi or a kvi? Rashi here says it's from a behema and a chaya. Right, but whatever it is, that's what we're saying now, that you can't use a klayim for that either. Okay, well, Rabbi Lazar the matter b'klayim, and Rabbi Lazar who is matter klayim, it's not Rabbi Lazar matter b'klayim. Neshu seh, he matters klayim because it's a seh, right? Meaning it's called seh l'mayhil. So then, what is Rava saying that all says are excluding klayim? It's coming to say that a tame that was born from a tahar, but it got pregnant from a tame, meaning there was a mice. This is what it was talking about before. It seems like a treifa animal, what we call treif, but a tame animal. The way Rashi says it is a horse and a cow were crossbred. The father's a horse and the mother is a cow. Right? A real mice is nus. Right? Or it was a sheep that made it together with a chazer. So the father's a chazer and the mother, meaning the mother's kosher and the father's not kosher, right? The classic case. If you have the father's a goy and the mother's a yid. So what's the status of the yid? Is the kid a yid? So by humans, we consider the kid a yid. We're saying here, Rabbi Elazar is saying, no, the kid is no good. The kid is treif. You're not allowed to eat it. Right? So that's what says coming to tell you. That type of crossbreed. So what it says with the like Rabbi Shua, that's not like Rabbi Shua. The Rabbi Shua, misek savim v'seh izim naftale. He learns it out from sek savim and seh izim. Actually, aviv keves v'imoy kav kibsa, until the father is a lamb and the mother is a lamb, meaning the father and mother have to be the same type. Okay, so that's the back and forth with Sukkot. So now the Gemara asks, is that possible? Is that biologically possible that a pig can impregnate a sheep? Or that a horse can impregnate a cow? It's not possible. What do you need a pasuk to be mamayat something that's not biologically possible? So what it says in the Kaim Alon on Tamid Beis now, the Aber mikolut kirab Shimon. If it got pregnant from a kolut is like a camel. What are the types of animals that chew their cud but don't have split hooves? Camel. Or does the camel have split hooves?
A pig doesn't really have split hooves.
A pig has split hooves.
It has real split hooves?
Right.
Yes.
The pig has. Right. That's the whole thing. A chazer shows.
Chazer fisel. Yeah.
Right. So so this is the opposite, where it doesn't have split hooves. So basically, Reb Shimon holds that if you have a baby that was born from two kosher animals, but it has a birth defect, that the hooves are not split. So it's a machlokes in Bechorus whether that animal is treif. Meaning, do split hooves have to be part and parcel of making an animal kosher? Or as long as it has kosher parents, if it has a birth defect where the hooves are not split, it's kosher or not. So Reb Shimon holds it's treif. You're not allowed to eat it because it doesn't have split hooves. Right? So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that animal that they bred with a regular kosher animal. That animal is, the chiddush is from Seth, we're telling you that child is no good. Right? In Shitas Reb Shimon. So that's what the pasuk is coming to exclude. 9:30. Okay, we'll stop here. The next Gemara is the Gemara I wanted to get to with Akiva. Okay, we'll stop here. But if the next Gemara asks, if you steal a guy makes an oila, and he has a shor. Now an oila can be an oila from a shor or a set. So the guy makes an oila and he steals it and it gets stolen. Can he just pay him back a set and say, here, you needed to bring a carbon, here's the carbon, even though the carbon's half the price. You're going to be yotze your mitzvah carbon. Is that considered a chazara? Right? So that would be the same thing. If you steal a treifa, maybe, Akiva. I don't know if that's correct in my thinking or not. But anyway. Okay, we'll stop there. Let's do Tillim.
Yaakov, isn't he stretching the idea of what it says?
What do you mean?
According to Rebbe Elazar? Because Seh means it was born from two animals that are tahor. That's the way we understood Rabba originally.
Right.
Sen and right? It's a Sen and A's, right?
Right.
That's not those are or that's not a they're both considered Sek, correct?
Correct.
Here we're saying Tomei and Tar, which is not at all what Rav has said.
Correct. It's a stretch. That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. It's not what Rav has said at all. The binyan Rav is talking about is complete. It's a completely different type of binyan.
It would be a kol shekain, but it would be a kol shekain.
I understand, but that's not what Rav has said. Rav was it is no shaykhs to Rav. Rav's binyan had to do with a more specific, narrow case.
Fine, yeah.
Which is not so simple.
Yeah, I hear that.
Meaning, what do you need the binyan for?
Right. Yeah, I'm asking. Anyways, okay, so let's say the Tillim. Yeah, Pei Gimel, Shem Izmar Losof.